Hello and welcome to Warping Brick, and here we are back in Resume Overhaul, and still in Sandbox. I decided, why don't I try going to a actual destination? Yes, let's go to the moon. Not like we have many other choices right now. And so, since, of course, Sandbox, I've made a exotic launch vehicle. You can see shuttle SRBs and an RD-170 on the core stage. And more will be explained later on. Right now we have launch, using some Titan 3-esque staging with those two SRBs igniting first, and the core igniting in the air. Not sure what's up with the SRB plumes. I even tried uninstalling and reinstalling those overall engines. Didn't work, I'm not sure why. In fact, there's a few configs that don't work for some reason with this. I'll talk about later. As you can see, I accounted for the basically I had to account for the spool up time of that RD-170, which is about 4 seconds. So I actually did about 10 seconds before SRB burnout, since the SRBs they technically don't stop burning for a while though, and for the last few seconds of their burn, they're basically reducing no thrust. Anyways, we have now descended that core stage, also the fairing, and we're now burning a NK-15V, I believe. And now, yeah, you can see the Rover that we are taking to the moon. And it has some interesting design features which will be discussed later. Now this is a fairly standard ascent from here on out. I'm just trying to balance the time to apoapsis with I'm just trying to keep that at a reasonable time away, so that we just... Because it's far better to insert into orbit if you're doing it at apoapsis. You know, I'm just using the pitch to control just where we are relative to apoapsis. Or I think it's more where apoapsis is relative to us. And yeah, this stage is now essentially a Centaur stage, since it's obviously the optimal rocket stage for basically any application. This we want to get us our transmitter injection. Now, this is not the first take of this mission. The first attempt I tried to do with in one burn, and ended up re-entering the atmosphere and craft got destroyed. So we're doing it in 2 burns, and yeah, we're suffering some losses due to boil off on the Centaur stage. I didn't even put any insulation on it. But we do end up managing it, and as you see, we've completed our first burn and now on our second. And I tried to get the burns roughly equal. The first one was 10, and second one was, well, as you can see, there's going to take that much not to do. And pretty soon after that, I tried to do some course adjustments, but I suffer a engine failure on the Centaur, and then create a maneuver node, fully intended to use the RCS on the Centaur to correct our trajectory. At this point, I have to admit, I completely forgot the Centaur only has near-Earth avionics on it, and so we can't use it anyways. So we've now detached. Now, here's the Rover in its landing stage. This, it's pretty simple stage. We have a lunar module descent engine with some RCS blocks around it, some and avionics, and that's about it. Again, Rover we elaborated on more. This Rover is drastically different from the original idea I had going into this. Anyways, I'm now plotting out our trajectory, and for this entire mission I was concerned that we were lacking Delta V, as this is the first time I've gone to the moon in Resume Overhaul. And yeah, we definitely did come a bit close. So anyways, we now approach the moon. There it is. And I don't know why, but MechJub had problems where for some reason it wouldn't always use the RCS to correct my attitude. Don't know why. Anyways, we can now start our orbital insertion burn at the moon. I'm aiming for, always aiming for a fairly circular orbit. I end up going for 30 by 50 kilometers. And while nothing's really happening, I just want to ask, here's a question, what do you want, like you the viewer, what do you watch my videos for? Because I just want to know, like, what makes these videos worth watching to you, and maybe I can work on improving that aspect of the videos. Nice, that was a slightly random introduction there. We now are doing our deorbit burn. And again, already at this point, the Delta V looks pretty slim. We only have, just since this landing is cancelling your orbital velocity, if I could get my words out, we only have 400 meters per second, 400 meters per second of Delta V greater than orbital velocity. Which doesn't seem like enough, but it's what my Delta V map said. And so, I was full expecting this to fail, and I would have to luckily think of something else to make a video on. But actually, as you can see here, we're decelerating pretty well. And yes, we're on the dark side. I did not plan for this, but somehow most of the stuff in this video ended up being on the dark side of celestial bodies. And so, and this is looking pretty good now. We're over 1.5 kilometers up. We have 360 meters per second of Delta V. And we'll be able to make a soft landing. The keyword, we would be able to do that. However, I choose not to, as you'll see here. Because, well, our only landing gear is the engine, and I kind of didn't slow down enough, and we impacted the surface at around 7 meters per second. However, that only destroyed the engine and left the rest of the vehicle intact, albeit on its side. And this seems pretty fatal for a rover. I'll now detach said rover, and this, just the landing stage, is now just an obstacle for us to deal with. And I'm now going to struggle trying to get this rover back up. First, it tips over more, influenced by that debris. And, oh, yeah, you can see that this rover has a articulated design. That there's a forward chassis and then an aft chassis connected by an Infernal Robotics servo. That'll come in handy later. But right now I was just trying to use the science equipment to right it. But using that servo meant for steering, I'm able to shift the center of mass enough where it tips over the right way. And immediately the wheels take us to nowhere. Yeah, we're able to gain control over the vehicle and are able to start traversing the surface. Yeah, we can use the navigation camera from, I believe, Holcam VDS's mod. Let's get talk more about the design of this rover. I actually started off trying to make something using skis from Kerbal Foundries, but that just wouldn't work. Skis have too high friction in this. But I ended up making this articulated design, which is not really visible right now due to wheels exactly covering it up. You can see it in action here. I don't really know if it's actually any better for the user. I mean, it seems to make the steering more responsive. It could also just overall weaken your control of the movement of the vehicle. Anyways, you also have plenty of space for science equipment, plenty of space for batteries, and this thing is powered by a RTG. So this should have basically a perpetual lifespan on the surface. So yeah, I want to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and goodbye.